So you want to make an enamel pin? Well, the two of us are going to teach you how to do that with 3 easy steps from the initial design stage all the way to the final product, with some helpful tips and tricks to make it smoother, especially if it's your first time. So let's get into it. So the first thing that you want to do is find your manufacturer, and this can be a good starting point so you can familiarize yourself with what features your particular manufacturer offers, since it can be helpful in the design stage. And for this video, I'm going to be using the manufacturer gsjj.com. They were actually so kind and reached out to me about collaborating and making a custom pin, so we're going to be using them today. So something I really like about this site is that they have a free quote feature where basically you click on it, you go through all of the different styles and finishes that you want, and then they'll give you a price estimate for free. The first thing you want to do is select your style, choosing between a hard enamel or a soft enamel pin. And the difference between the two is that a hard enamel pin is going to have the fill and the enamel on the same level, so it's essentially like a single flat surface. And a soft enamel pin is going to have the edges raised up and the color itself slightly recessed, so there is a bit of a three-dimensional look to it. The next thing is to choose your size, and something else that I found super helpful as I was going through this is that if you're unsure of the size or even the finish that you want, there is an option called recommended for you, which means that the customer service will make that decision for you, and then when they send you the proof, you can choose whether to approve that. Next thing is to select the amount of colors for the pin. So if you do 5 colors or less, it is free. And then step 5 is some of the fun options where you can do things like transparent colors, glow in the dark, glitter, and each option will give you a little video run through of what exactly the feature is. Next is moving on to the types of attachments that you want. So you can do a rubber clutch, military clutch. There are also other fun options like a pin to keychain converter, no backing at all, or a pin to magnet converter, whatever fits your fancy. You also have an option to choose an engraving on the back and the packaging as well. And then at the very end, you upload your artwork or design, and then you submit it, and then you should be reached out to with a follow-up email. You can also upload your design through email later. And the last thing is the turnaround time. So if you allow them more time to make the pin, then there will be a discount added, so that if you're not in a rush to get them, you can save a little money there. All right, moving on to step 2, which is designing your pin. Maybe you already have a design in mind, or maybe you're starting from scratch. To make the design process smoother, I would keep these 3 things in mind. The first being to be mindful of your line art and the overall complexity of your design, just being aware that it is going to be on a smaller scale. So if you overload it with little details, they may not show up in the way that you want. I personally found it helpful to look at other enamel pins from artists and designers that I really like, not to copy them, but to observe why I liked them and see how they use their lines and where they put their details, and how I could take those approaches and incorporate it into my work. The second thing I would keep in mind is your color scheme and keeping it limited. So make sure you are aware of how many colors you can use, just to save yourself from either extra costs or design changes down the line. The last thing that I would say is when you are digitizing this design, to either vectorize it in a program like Illustrator or just use a monoline so it's easier to see what the final product would look like. So after you finish and submit your design, within a few days you will receive a proof which will outline what the pin will look like in its final form. And if something is off or not to your liking here, don't worry, because you can make adjustments to it. So in my case, I realized after getting the first proof done that I didn't want this 4th little star, so I replied to the email just mentioning that, as well as wanting to move the transparency section from the feet to this little ring that the stars are wrapped around, and that was no problem for them. The designers were really quick with my changes and also super friendly and really understanding. And after getting the second proof, everything looked perfect, so I went ahead and approved it. And once you approve that, then production on your pins will start, and essentially that's it. However, I have included a final optional step, which is to design a backing card, which again, you don't have to do as you've already made the pins, but in my opinion, it just makes it look so professional and so put together. And also, it's a good thing to do while you're waiting on your orders to arrive, which is what I did. And some things to consider when making a backing card is to have your name and logo, social, stuff like that clearly listed, and also for the design of the back to not overpower the pin itself. These are the backing cards printed out, and I think they look so cute, and I think that they'll complement the design really well. And what's even more exciting is that the pins are here. Okay. Oh! And here is the final pin with the backing card that I designed. I think they turned out so cute. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you found this helpful, and if you have any questions, please comment down below and I will do my best to answer them. All right, thank you. Bye.